let's get started making a character. Alright, we're ready to go. Run starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, welcome to Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, Death Wish Percent. This is an esoteric speedrun category that includes one character only in difficulty mode Insane, which is core rules plus monsters deal double damage. No items except for plot and quest purposes, so no equipment or usable items. And minimum stats.
Child, I am glad I have found you.
So I'm going to let the dialogue here play out because it can get a little noisy, and I'll pick up commentary after.
Make your way to the Friendly Arm Inn. There you will meet Khalid and Jahira. They have long been my friends, and you can trust them. Child, the night can only get worse, so we must find shelter soon. Don't worry. I'll explain everything as soon as there is time. Wait, there is something wrong. We are in an ambush. Prepare yourselves.
I'm sorry that you feel that way, old man.
Alright, and we're on our way. So, the first half hour, usually a little bit more than half an hour of the run, is going to be dedicated to getting up to level 6. We're going to be avoiding as many conversations as we can along the way. Obviously, we're going to skip as many of the cutscenes as we can, though that scene playing out where Saravok kills Gorion is not skippable as far as I've seen in any conventional means of playing the game. But for example, we can skip that cutscene. You'll notice that I'm exploring edges of the map, which is necessary in order to reveal areas on the world map that we'll be visiting later. So as I'm going up and down the Sword Coast, there will be a decent amount of map exploration for those purposes. That's why I'm heading to the edges here, like I am now. I actually want to go north, but I want to head over to the right first, so that I can reveal a location that I'm going to need a little later on in the run. 6th level is very important because that's where Sorcerer picks up the first level 3 spell pick, which is going to end up being Skull Trap, and that's going to be our means for dealing with most of the enemies that we actually need to kill in order for the game to progress the game. Bosses especially. Along the way, the run is also going to change a decent amount when we get Invisibility, which we'll pick up at level 4. in the meantime, we have to be very careful where and how we walk. There's an archer around the corner there who can very, very easily kill us. So we don't want it to get on screen at all. Just north of here are a few farmers that have stolen a golden bowl. We're going to take it back by force, even though technically we shouldn't know that they have it. Doesn't matter, we can justify our actions after the fact. There's the golden bowl. And the other farmers we can ignore. The first couple levels that we're going to get are going to involve quests that don't require any combat. Well, aside from killing that farmer, I guess. Mostly because we just don't have the firepower to deal with enemies of any real significance until we're a little higher level. But fortunately, there's a few good quests that we can pick up as we're going along, getting map edges for later on in the run to get a few levels before we have to get into any serious combat. Overall, I usually hope for a run to take less than an hour and a half. I'm going to be using a strategy that a small alteration to the route that I came up with after my last run that should save 10 or 20 seconds, which isn't that big of a deal over the course of the run, but I'll take every little bit that I can get. So at this point we're going to cast Shield, which is going to hopefully help us get around this. If we're lucky, yep, we survived, that's the important thing. And we're here in Olgothsveer just long enough to reveal the map location for Durlag's tower. There is a, so Hergen will speak at us.
So listen up a moment or two.
And he reveals the location for on our map. And at this point we're headed south. Try and avoid a conversation with the hunter. Just take the long way around that tree, usually does it. And continuing to head south to Baragost.
What do you
No
need?
need for conversation. So let's avoid that. We're here for two quests. The first is going to be the conversation with Marl. Right inside the bar.
Here now, get out.
That's about enough.
You tell him,
For
Marl.
one day.
And done with that. Next one we're going
I
to
got
purchase,
some cheap
do our
beer
single,
for
one and only purchase during the game. We're going to pick up that book just to hand it in for another quest.
It's hard to find decent folk nowadays.
Get rid of useless items, and head out. We need to pick up two map edges. One is the south, which is right next to us here. The other is off to the right. Both of which, well, we're headed south, imminently, but we want the right border for later. once again, we're going to pick up a map border to the left here, and then head south. We're heading south in part so that we can gain access to Nashkel mines via the town of Nashkel, but also because just one area south of Nashkel, there's a big slug of experience that we can get from Albert, who has lost his dog, Ruffy. And who doesn't want to help someone save their pet? It is possible for us to see monsters along the path down here. We're intentionally not taking the level that we have access to, in part because the frequency and severity of monster spawns should be lower while we keep our level lower. But also because we just don't need to yet. We're going to wait until we have enough experience to get to level 2 and take both levels at once. This area is a little bit interesting. Monster spawns are a little weird in Baldur's Gate. There's a path that is sometimes blocked by a monster and sometimes not. We're going to need to save right before it, so that if the monster appears, we can hopefully avoid it by resetting and doing a quick rest. Okay. Let's see if we got around it. There we go. I don't know why the quick rest works. It doesn't work 100% of the time, but it does usually work pretty reliably, where if you don't do the rest and the monster appeared, it's very, very likely in that case to keep appearing over and over again and waste a lot of time if you don't try the rest. Not exactly sure how that works or why that works, but it's pretty consistent. And again, we could see monsters along the side here. It's unlikely but possible for us to encounter a monster with a ranged attack. If that's the case, we're going to just die and have to reset.
With your...
Okay. So as mentioned, we're here to head further south, but while we're in the town of Nashkel, we're going to pick up 400 quick and easy experience while we're already passing through. That experience is in the form of Nuber, who's an NPC that likes to follow you around town and talk to you. But if you talk to him enough times, he will get bored, wander away, and you'll get experience for talking to him, I guess, and not killing him. So that's what we're up to now.
Hey!
And there's our experience, and we're headed further south. It is possible, although unlikely, to talk to Nuber so fast that you actually lose out on the experience. You break the script, essentially. I have had that happen, and unfortunately the experience requirements for the run are so tight that that is a run killer. Unless you've saved right beforehand, which is why I do a save right before I start talking to him. There is a monster spawn just a hair north of where we're going to let our line of sight look. We're going to try and prevent those monsters from spawning, in part because they're often ranged attackers, and if they're not, they're still a waste of time. It's okay if our route is a little indirect because Ruffy has to follow us anyway. And he tends to do a better job of following when we keep him in line of sight. So, turns out Albert was a demon. Not the last time that we're going to be helping a demon. And pretty soon we're going to be taking that level up. So we're going to head up here, avoid combat. Like I said, heading up here so that we can head south and appear in the northern border of this location. So let's take our level. Rest up, good. And now that should give us enough firepower to deal with the wolf. If we roll really, or continue to roll really badly, it is possible that we could run out of spells before the wolf is dead, but that's pretty unlikely. I've been doing this run for a while, and I've only seen that happen a few times. There we go. Time to get our friend Melicantha the chicken. And here we are. Needs to rest. We're gonna rest again until it's night. Do a quick for safety. And try and get the skeleton to appear. Come on, skeleton. Usually it appears. No, we'll see what happens. Okay, we'll try doing it the hard way then. See if we can get interrupted. Okay, there we go, there's a skeleton.
I could use a little patching up.
As long as the next one doesn't hit us, we should be okay. Where'd the skeleton go? Alright, we're gonna have to do it again.
Your sleep has been interrupted. Monsters are about.
Okay, good so far. Alright, because we need this skull here in order to complete the Melicant quest. So we lost a little bit of time on that, but not the end of the world. Of course, now they appear. We rested for reasons that will become obvious in a little bit.
I be Thalantir, mighty mage of Baragost.
Okay, good there. And let's see if Anti-Chickinator works. It's a 50-50 of killing him or turning him back to human. We need him to turn back to human. Excellent, we got lucky there. So gather our experience. Get a little bit of distance here. And we need to roll well. Not good enough. Good enough. Good enough. Not good enough. Definitely not good enough. That'll do. That's good. And last should do it. Nope. Need to roll a little better. What? Need to roll better. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright. Got our experience. So, now that we've got that, we'll take our level up. And now that we have invisibility, we can get away with a lot more. Especially now that we've rested. So at this point we're headed off to the Basilisk Forest. Basilisks are normally very dangerous enemies, but because we have protection from petrification, they won't cause us any problems. Protection from petrification neutralizes the potential effectively instant death ability of the petrification rays that they usually use for attack. They do have melee attacks also, but if they decide to start melee attacking, they actually move very slowly, so we can kite them around while we're still damaging them. Unlike the mage that we just fought, who restores health whenever you rest, as for whatever reason mages in the game tend to do. Basilisks don't, which is good because we don't really have enough firepower to reliably kill them with a single volley of spells without having to rest in between until we level up. And we're going to need to kill a bunch of basilisks before we're ready to level up. Oops. So I'm going to unfortunately I did that while there was still an enemy on screen, which is why the save didn't work and the load failed. What I was looking for is like that. So now I've got my protection from petrification, and it's time to go basilisk hunting. And here's our first. And it's already deciding to do melee attacks. That's interesting. It happens sometimes. So we're going to play kiting games. Distance and go invisible. Okay. Okay. And time to start casting again. So I do a quick reset there in order to get the casting delay out of the way so that I can cast effectively faster than once per round. Alright, that one's dead. Okay. And casting our 2 spells here should make it so that we can kill, hopefully, this basilisk with just 1 rest. Okay, good there. Starting to cast again. So we should have enough firepower to finish it off without running out of spells and needing to hide and rest again. That is a possibility, but it seems unlikely at this point. We're doing enough damage. After I deal with 1 more regular basilisk, I'm going to set up the attack on the greater basilisk, which will give us enough experience to level up. Once we level up, we'll actually have 3 magic missiles. Oh, we didn't actually have it. Okay. It's alright. We'll have 3 magic missiles per casting, which will make the hunting around here a little bit faster. Okay, good on that. Usually this guy's pretty close to the others. Okay, there we go. We don't want to get too far or we might trip across the mage, and we don't want to start that battle yet. The Greater Basilisk and the Mage are positioned very close to each other, which is very intentional because the Greater Basilisk won't start attacking until you start the dialogue with the mage. Though interesting that if you keep the mage out of sight and you attack by range, the Greater Basilisk will never try to attack you, which is the behavior that we're going to take advantage of to fight and kill the Greater Basilisk before the mage ever appears on the screen. And that'll let us get our level up. Okay. Now we need to be careful about our positioning. We want to get the Greater Basilisk just barely on screen. Okay, that'll do. And because it never goes aggro, we can save and cast our spells faster than we should normally be able to, because we're saving and reloading in between. And this is the point where I have to start to be a little careful, because we don't want to save and load after killing the basilisk before getting the experience. So I'm going to be taking this a little bit slower now. Okay, that gets us our level. Oh, there we go. Okay, and now that we've got our level, we can go after the mage. Let's see if we got the timing. Yep, looks like we got the timing. Good. So what we want to do is set it up so that we are going to interrupt his spellcasting with magic missiles, and because we interrupted his first spell, we should be set on timing to continue interrupting his subsequent spells. And there's a basilisk down here. 2 more basilisks we need to kill before we go up to out of the area. But in any case, since we interrupted his first spell and he casts exactly once per round, if we queue up a spell to continue casting exactly once per round, we should continue to interrupt his spells, which will make it so that in the end he never gets a spell off. Okay, good there. Alright. And 1 more basilisk. There we go. Oh, wrong button. Oh well. Sorry about that. That will happen sometimes. Do it. Okay, good there. Okay. Now we're going to explore the map edge to make Durlag's Tower travelable, but that's not where we're headed immediately. This is the small change to the route that I developed for last time. We're going to go back to Baragost to get a little bit more experience real quick. So we're going to approach it from the high hedge border, just to get us there a little bit faster. Great rolls on damage, so we shouldn't have to worry about that. And there we go. And there's our experience. Comes with a penalty of lost reputation, but that's okay. Now we can head to Durlag's Tower. Do a quick invisibility so that we can get by the monsters on the bridge here. And because of that change, going back to kill Firebeat Elven Hair, we won't need to fight the ghasts, which saves a bit of time. So once we kill these monsters, we can go straight to the Kieran Hale quest. They should take 6 castings, which is exactly what we have. It is possible for them to survive 6 castings, but it's uncommon. If they do, it's okay because they don't regenerate health on rest, so we can just go invisible, which fortunately we don't need to, but we could go invisible, rest, come back, and finish it off with probably just 1 more casting. A little closer than I wanted to call that. That's okay. Come on, last casting. Let's do this. Excellent. Get that save in. Sometimes there's a monster that shows up right around there, doppelganger, sometimes it doesn't. We just need to be prepared with invisibility in case it does show up so that we don't waste time having to reset and try and get around it. So now that we've done that, we actually just need to head up for Kieran Hale, so we should be, even though I lost a little bit of time earlier in the run, we should be making up for it at this point. No need to linger around floor 2, 3, 4 up to Kieran Hale.
Destiny or no, I'm not long for this place.
Okay. Up to Rigolo.
You need something, stranger?
Back up to Kieran Hale and then finish it off. So it looks like we're actually ahead of, we will probably be a little bit ahead of time. Let's take that level up. And there's time there. So we definitely saved time with that new small alteration, which is great. I may as well get the quick resting while we can. And at this point, we're on our way to blitzing through the plot. So I'm very happy about that savings of time, even though there was a little bit of bad luck and a little bit of let's call it missed opportunities in terms of time savings. We're still ahead because that new technique is proving to be pretty useful. So very happy about that. There's still a lot that can go right or wrong, largely based off of RNG, though there are plenty of opportunities for me to make mistakes or execute a little bit better, so we'll just have to see how that goes. So blitzing through the plot at this point, the first stop is going to be Dash Kill Mines, get to the bottom of that, kill Mullahan, pick the litter up off his body. after the hour mark, so around the hour 10, hour 15 mark, is when I'll have set up Ducal Palace. At that point,
You have been waylaid by
that's
enemies
fine.
and must defend yourself.
Can't exit. There we go.
You have been waylaid by
Oh, that's going to be a problem. Let's just load now. Load. Autosave. Get us closer. That happens sometimes. Waylaying is bound to happen.
must defend yourself.
The important thing is just
You have been waylaid by
Oh,
enemies
that's fine.
and must defend yourself.
don't need to worry about these guys. As long as we don't get more archers. Alright, we're good. So, lost a little bit of time on that, but like I said, there's a lot of RNG. It's random number generation, in case you're not familiar with that lingo.
So you want to take a look at me mine, do you?
Stand away, citizen!
So National Mines is where we're going to start to see our first traps during the course of the run. There are a few techniques for getting around traps, but the technique that we're going to be seeing here is one I refer to as save stepping. That is, so the interesting thing about the way traps work in Baldur's Gate is they don't necessarily fire immediately on the frame that you interact with when you step up on their geometry. There's a bit of a delay, and for whatever reason, saving slows down when that fires, and you can usually step, and also there's a little bit of a delay when you reload in case you save and reload on a trap. You can use that delay to walk around the trap and save and reload before it even fires. In a few cases, you can actually save step past it to prevent it from firing entirely.
That's about enough for one day.
So we're going to see that in action shortly. So we need to get right about to this point. There are some kobolds just past here that need to die so that we can do save stepping properly. Good to go there. And now we can start save stepping. This quarter has 2 traps. We want to hopefully avoid both of them, but okay. We got hit by one, not the end of the world. The only thing that's important is that we're still alive. Even if we're down to only 1 hit point, that doesn't really matter. Ideally, we prevent the trap from even hitting us, but such is life. Oh, come on, we can get around them. Usually we can just walk straight by them, but sometimes the pathfinding gets stuck. So there are 3 traps here, but we should be able to avoid all 3 of them by save stepping. And we're good.
That's about
Before we
enough.
can go after Malahay directly, we're going to need to deal with the kobolds. Okay, that should still be okay. Nope, didn't get them all. That should do it. Okay, good there. Now that we've got that, we can play distance games with Malahay. Okay, we need to rest. Good there. A couple more hits should do it. So the trick is pausing right after he takes damage, saving and reloading so that he hasn't gone aggro yet. It's not the last time you're going to see that trick in the run either. Take the second letter. Go invisible, and that's the chapter. So now we're off to Baragost to kill Tranzig, who also has, we actually don't need to pick up a letter off him, even though he does have notes on his body. We just need to kill him in order to reveal the bandit camp. So we're going to play line of sight games with Tranzig as well, so that we can hopefully avoid dialogue with him and kill him both quickly and without any risk of taking damage. So we're going to do a quick rest so that we have up our spells for fighting Tranzig. Tranzig is just upstairs in the Feldpost Inn.
That's about enough for one day.
Why did we get stuck? Not seen myself get stuck that way before. That's interesting. I have to keep that in mind for future runs. That's an excellent one. Good enough. Excellent. And we got the map update and experience. That's what we need. Going invisible here just so that we can avoid having a conversation with Viconia. No need for that. Hi, Viconia.
You have been waylaid by enemies and must defend yourself.
Okay. So this is an unusual trap. This is the only trapped chest that we have to deal with over the course of the run, and the way that it's going to play out is it is going to be a little weird, but it's going to happen pretty fast. Effectively, what we have to do to get around the trap is prevent it from firing while getting the note inside. What we have to do to accomplish that is to walk up to the chest, pause basically on the frame that we interact with the chest, take the note out, quick save, quick load, pause right after we quick load, go invisible, and that should prevent the dialogue from happening as well. So here's what that looks like. Okay, good there. And we're out. There's the chapter stop, just to make sure that we did it right. So now that we've got the bandit camp taken care of, we can start going for the Cloakwood mines. Well, go through the Cloakwood forest to the mines.
That's about
In order to reveal the Cloakwood forest, we have to get to the left edge of the Friendly Arms Inn area. We couldn't reveal that map edge earlier because you have to have the note from the bandit camp to change the chapter in order for that to be an explorable map edge. Avoid that. Okay, good there. Fortunately, this area, while long and having a lot of things going on, we can just head directly north and move on to the next area. Since we're not getting items during the course of this run, or at least no items for equipment or general use outside of quests,
You have been waylaid by enemies and must defend yourself.
we really don't need any of that. So the second area, there's pure RNG, which will impact our time a little bit. There are 3 web traps. That's the first. We got good luck on that. Hopefully, ideally we avoid all 3, but we hope to at least avoid 2. But at least we've avoided 1. I've had times where I get stuck by all 3. Nice. Okay, 2 out of 3 getting avoided is pretty good.
You have been waylaid by enemies
That's not good.
and must defend yourself.
A little lucky on the movement there. This area is pretty easy, just follow the river. There isn't a northern explorable edge, so we essentially, and there isn't a left explorable edge, so we essentially have to get our way over to the right.
That's about enough for one
But
day.
it's still pretty close.
You have been waylaid by enemies and must defend yourself.
As you see, Cloakwood area is full of enemies. Lots of encounters as you're moving through there. You don't call that a safety invisibility. And the next area is going to be the mines entrance, or the forest entrance to the mines, depending on how you want to look at it.
You have been waylaid by enemies and must defend yourself.
Okay. Now we need to get to the bottom of the mines. There are a couple of sets of traps. One trap we're going to be using the shield spell to get through. Shield has a side effect that often people don't miss or don't think about, and that is that it protects you from magic missile. Some traps manifest as casting magic missile at you, and the shield spell will protect you from those magic missiles. The other traps we're going to save step past, like we have before. When we get to the bottom of the mines in Daveron, he has a dialogue that will happen even if he can't see you. Okay, now we need the shield spell. And we're going to hopefully do essentially save stepping, but with quick loads to avoid that. So save stepping past this trap. And we're past that. Let's get past this corridor of enemies. Second to last floor. Okay, there's a hidden door. We have to reveal it. Unfortunately, that went nice and fast. So we're going to be using... Okay, we got past the traps and we avoided the dialogue. Even better. So now it's time to get ready.
So,
Ah, there's the dialogue.
stomach
Oh well, that's
adventurers
alright.
have found their way down to
Let's actually avoid that. Okay, now we can start trying to attack. This will take a little bit. Excellent. He has a mirror image cast, and essentially we have to roll to get through the mirror image in order to hit him with even a skull trap. And he recasts mirror image. This is going really well. He recasts mirror image whenever you reload, so there's not a whole lot we can do to bring those defenses down. So he should actually be pretty close to getting killed. This is going actually very, very well. But guess I shouldn't call that before we're done. That went really well.
You have dealt a great...
And now I can head out. That's actually one of the fastest Daveron battles that I've had. So we made up a little bit of time there as well, and that's always good to see. So now we will be entering the city of Baldur's Gate. We're going to be running around doing a tiny bit of plot quests, which will gain us access back to Candlekeep, which is where we started the game. After we get back from Candlekeep, there's one enemy we'll need to kill, and then we can set up Ducal Palace.
You have been waylaid by enemies and must defend yourself.
Once Ducal Palace is set up, then I'll have a secondary run that I'll be doing. Because we need to just let that play out. And while it's playing out, I would like to entertain you. During that second speed run, it'll be a quick glitched speed run, but I'll be holding my breath. I will be using clear duct tape to on my nose and mouth to both prevent me from breathing, but also indicate that I'm not breathing. Do not do that at home. It's very dangerous.
Citizens, please step
And
forward.
don't get hurt. I have practiced it a lot, and no one should really ever practice that. Avoiding more conversations. And we're going to head over to Duke Elton, I think is his name. Yep, Elton. Duke Elton is going to send us on a quick quest to get dig up some dirt on the Iron Throne. We will do that, head back to Duke Elton, and then he'll send us over to Candlekeep. Scar will try to send us on a few quests in the meantime, but we're going to just tell Scar that we don't have the time for that, because this is a speed run. recast invisibility so that you don't have to have conversations with the guards. They'll start talking to you immediately if you're still visible when you head down those stairs. The Iron Throne has a lot of conversations on its various floors. Most of those conversations leads to battle, but because we're invisible, we won't trigger those conversations, and thus we won't have to fight those battles. This is about the only floor that the conversation doesn't necessarily lead to battle. This is a very big battle, and is sort of, I believe, intended to be the gatekeeper that makes that note a hard-fought victory. You can actually take either of the notes, but it changes the dialogue that you have with Elton. And I'm just used to taking the second notes, so I've gotten used to the dialogue from that. But either way will work. Most of the rest of the time that you see notes in the game, the note that you pick up is very important. Which one you pick up is very important. The other one usually won't trigger the chapter stop. In the case of Slide later, you absolutely need both notes. One will get you into Ducal Palace, the other will be the evidence that you need against Serapok.
Greetings, taxpayers.
Hold, travelers! Before you will be allowed in...
Candlekeep has a lot of conversations that we want to avoid, so staying invisible when we don't need to have a conversation is pretty important. Well, there is not a whole lot of ability to rest in Candlekeep. We don't need to go invisible many times, so we should be okay. Second floor has a conversation that is necessary in order to continue on in the plot. Happens right up here with a gentleman named Korovos. Go ahead and spell that backwards.
Something stranger.
Fortunately, the monk didn't spawn far enough north that we couldn't avoid that conversation. That does sometimes happen, but it didn't here, which is great. And at the top of the tower here, this conversation we actually need to have.
Our rules are very strict.
So here we are in prison. It's a little bit of waiting. There's not a whole lot we can do about the waiting time here. It's just a timer that has to run out. So first conversation.
Someone disturbs me.
Second timer, and then a second conversation. Then we'll be on our way into catacombs.
Greetings, young one.
On our way. Going invisible again to avoid monsters and conversations. There are a lot of NPCs scattered throughout the mines who look like your friends from Candlekeep at the beginning of the game, but are actually doppelgangers in disguise. Sort of brings up into question whether the doppelgangers were always there from the beginning, or whether they've subsequently infiltrated Candlekeep. I think it's intended to be the latter, plot-wise, but I'm not 100% sure. So, more of Saravok's minions. They're not going to see us because we're invisible, so nothing to fight here. As you can see, we're avoiding as many combats as we can. Yet another conversation that we don't need to have, even though the plot assumes that we do have it.
Life.
So, now that we're on our way out from Candlekeep, we're going to be headed back to the city of Baldur's Gate. We're going to head to the sewers, kill Slythe, and then set up Ducal Palace. Ducal Palace is a little bit tricky because the greater doppelgangers that come up have plenty power to kill you and kill both of the Grand Dukes easily. We need to play games with line of sight, and in order to do that, we need to charm one of the Grand Dukes. And use that so that we can hide the Grand Duke in the corner. Which will allow us to keep the Grand Duke out of line of sight from the enemies. So we go to that location in order to get to the right map edge, which puts us very close to this grate. This is the entrance that we want to get into the sewers. And I want 7 skull traps in the corner. Need a quick rest. Good there. Good there. One more quick rest. Good. One more skull. And now we need to charm Slythe. This can take some doing because he has pretty good saving throws.
Look at Christmas, honey.
And we got him first try. That's amazing.
Get a real deal.
Getting very good RNG this time. Okay, let's get me to safety. Get Slythe into our trap. Prep a magic missile in case he survives all those skulls. Yep, perfect. We need both notes, very important. One more rest. Excellent, and we're on our way. So at this point I'm going to tape over my nose so that I'll only have to tape over my mouth for the last part. So I'll start talking funny pretty soon. for Ducal Palace. And we're ready for Ducal Palace.
Hello? I serve the flaming fist!
Okay, good there. So that was when we need to protect first. And in order to do that, we need to charm first. She also has pretty good saving throws, since it sometimes takes a bit. That's her hit for later. By the way, if the camera does not work, we're on track for a very good time here. So if the camera doesn't work, sorry, I won't be able to show you the Zelda part. There we go.
Perhaps wait. Shut up. Let Servox speak.
Okay. Now save stuff into place. Okay, good there. So let's see what we got. Did we get it? Yeah. Alright. So, ready in 3, 2. Baldur's Gate. This thing we need to check, make sure Leah's okay, good. Next we're going to take a look at the doppelganger room. Barely, okay, 5, good. Alright. Now, we need to start rolling well. And this can take a little while. It's worth a time investment, though. Whew, that's a good first roll. Okay, we'll take that. Not very good. Oh, didn't do that. Actually, let's reload that quick save real quick. Okay, good. Wow, 3 deaths. That's fantastic. Looks like we're going to be in good shape. Just needs to roll a little better. Now, let's take... Let's try and avoid panic. That's what happened. Okay. That's better. Morale failure berserk is something we can have. We have to be very careful of runners, though. Worth spending some time here, believe me. If this doesn't go well, it can lose way more time than you can save by being a little hasty on the judgments on rolls. You can do better. Better still. That's pretty good. It wasn't a runner. You don't like it when they start running. Looks like we still got a runner. Such is life. Let's see if it'll run back. It's gonna run in line of sight. Now it's gonna just start running around, isn't it? Okay. So for the best. Okay, this is going to be our last big one, so... We need it to go well. I think I'll take that. So let's do our level up now. matter, doesn't matter, and this one matters. Okay, so, just out of curiosity, let the runner come back. There we go. Excellent, good there. And let's see what we've got left. Good there. I think that'll do it. And now we need to get out of line of sight before Leah has a chance to try and kill us. Good there. Now we need to evade Sarevok.
Killing is our father's work. Embrace it as you will. Cannot have it forever.
Okay, and then talk to Leah one more time. Excellent. Quick conversation.
So I kicked him in the head till he was dead.
And we're off to the maze. And Viz prevents a conversation there. We'll do a quick rest while we can. Prepare this for later. No reason not to. And I'll see if I can finish up the end sequence of Zelda while I'm walking the maze. There are two sections of trapped corridors. There are two corridors along the maze that are trapped. The first one, unfortunately, we can't save step past it because there are monsters scattered throughout, and we can't use shield to avoid the traps because they're not magic missile traps. We actually have to be very, very careful where we step to avoid the geometry of the traps on the ground, which is possible, but is definitely tricky. The second set is magic missile traps, so we can just use shield to walk straight through them and not have to worry about it. Coming up on that first set of traps pretty soon. So now I have to be pretty careful. And that should do it. Okay. Good on Zelda. There's our trapped corridor. Line a trap. Line a trap. Sometimes it'll double trigger like that. Doesn't really matter. They're all magic missiles. Now we're going to be setting up the final encounter. So we need to kill bats so that they won't cause problems with the traps that we're laying, skull traps specifically. Lay a big patch of skull traps and then use invisibility, melts minute meteors, and geometry to try to get him stuck inside the trap. And as mentioned, killing bats is actually very important. In order for this plan to work properly. Couple of bats over there. Don't want them ruining our day either. So now we're low on spells. Do a quick rest. Missed that. Okay, it's alright. I'm not used to having trouble saving there. That's okay. For safety, we're gonna kill that bat. Make sure Servok spawns, so we're good there. And now start laying our traps. We're going to do 4 sets. That's enough if we get him stuck in it to kill him. Last set. That's usually a good spot. And
You are indeed face me.
and time will be when Servok dies. Time. Alright. That went pretty well. I'll call that a pretty successful run. That's actually my best time so far. Most of that time was from the new technique to fight, what's his name? Firebead Elvenhair on the way out from the Basilisk Forest, which gives 2,700 experience when you kill him, rather than picking off 4 ghouls, or sorry, ghasts on the way up the tower for Durlag's tower, which nets you between them a total of 2,600 XP. So it's basically an even, close enough to an even trade-off. It's actually slightly more for Firebead, but that's really neither here nor there. Kiting around the ghouls, the ghasts, takes some extra time, And in the end, even though we walk back to Baragost, walk around to get to his house and leave, killing him is so much faster than killing the ghasts that it's overall pretty good savings. The other extra bit that we picked up, netting us about an extra, probably about 20 seconds all in all, is that we had an excellent fight with Daveron at the bottom of Cloakwood Mines, combined with a decent amount of RNG luck with the rest of the run. So that's why I ended up getting a little bit better than I had in previous runs. I'm very, very happy about that. This is a new personal record. And if you have any questions, feel free to ping me. We're going to watch. I'll let the ending sequence for Baldur's Gate play out. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to send them in the chat for the channel. I'll answer them as best I can. And otherwise, enjoy the ending of both Link to the Past and Baldur's Gate. And I'll be streaming again next Wednesday around the same time, starting 8 o'clock Eastern.